Is Bukhungu Stadium in Kakamega County, the host county for this year's national event that is dedicated to marking the International Day for Risk Disaster Reduction. That is the day that has been set aside by the United Nations General Assembly to recognize the efforts by the global community in reducing the disasters all around the world. And talking about disasters, we know that Kenya is not peculiar to these challenges. We know that there is a shortage of food that is already affecting a number of counties, so to speak. The current speakers, if I'm not wrong, portrayed that about 4 million Kenyans in at least 23 counties are already experiencing acute food shortage, and just to avert that, there are a number of measures that probably the government and stakeholders can put in place to avert such situations, and that is one of the reasons this day was set aside to mark this auspicious day. Well, Kakamega County is hosting this event, and the guest of honor today will be the governor for Kakamega County. That is Fernandez Barasa, who is yet to arrive. Like you can see from the background here, people are already gathering here, but then the event is yet to start officially. But then just going to straight into today's subject, Brian Kimani will allow me to engage the director National Disaster Operations Center from the Ministry of Interior and National Coordination, that is Colonel retired Charles Owino, who will share with us just a number of measures that the center is putting in place. You can come here, sir, so that you can engage you. We know that today is the International Disaster Risk Reduction Day, and talking about disasters, Mr. Charles Owino, we know that Kenya is not peculiar to all these, and we are already being affected by just quite a number of disasters. Most of us is food shortage, and at the center of all this is all climate change. Just starting us off, why did you settle on Kakamega to host this event today, this year?
Thank you very much. My name is Colonel retired Charles Owino, Director National Disaster Operations Center. The reason why we settled on Kakamega is that since we started celebrating the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction, the International Day for Disaster Reduction, we have been holding it in different counties, and based on the cycle of meetings that we've held yearly since the time that we started. This time it was the time for Kakamega County. That's why we're holding it here. Yes. So
there are no specific determinant factors, probably just that set Kakamega aside. It's just about the cyclic changes.
Basically, we would like to hold these IDDR days in different regions of Kenya. So we've been holding them in different regions of Kenya. We've never held an IDDR day and symposium, at least in the last 5 years, in Kakamega, and therefore we decided that we give this chance to Kakamega, and then of course subsequently we will go to other regions.
Okay. Yes. Well, before that. We've spoken about the policies and resource mobilization to enable players in the disaster management sector to carry out their mandate here. What more do you think should be done? What is the synergy between the national government and the county's government in tackling disasters and all the risks associated with it?
The synergy between the national government and the county governments revolves around us working towards a common aim. The common aim is ensuring that we ensure that disaster risk governance is focused on. We want to ensure that the national DRM policy is also implemented at the county level in their own way. The National Disaster Risk Management Strategy, the disaster reduction. But preceding it, we have the National Symposium, which is a 2-day symposium which was held on 11th and 12th. The theme for the National Symposium was early warning, early action for all. And the IDDR 2022 is actually themed around Target G of the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction. And it's all about substantially increasing access to early warning information and disaster risk information and assessments to all people by 2030. So that answers the question that you ask. We know that these things are existing, all the hazards are existing, disasters are occurring, but we want to lessen them, we want to reduce them. And one way of doing it is ensure that we provide the early warning information in time, and then create public awareness through early action, and then ensure that we get the disaster risk information and assessment and provide them to the public through the established structures. In that way, we can be able to avoid losses of lives and livelihoods.